I mean, what will this do if the Republican Party goes further and further left? And if they do this nationally, and there are a lot of big donors in the national GOP who are trying to move us in a same-sex marriage direction, so-called, well, I mean, what does that do to the people who care about these issues? It just alienates them.
Well, I agree completely again, and here's what they're doing in Nevada, okay, and I assume it's probably national. They're trying to get rid of the Ron Paul people. They're trying to get rid of the Tea Party people. They're trying to get rid of the evangelicals. They're trying to get rid of the Mormons who have been very strong on the traditional marriage issue. And yet they don't have any evidence that they're going to be able to replace that base that they're driving away. Now, the Ron Paul ones are particularly interesting. I actually went to the Ron Paul rally here in Reno. I went to the Rick Santorum rally, the Romney rally, and in 2008 I went to the McCain rally and to the Obama rally, just kind of gauging, the different crowds and stuff. The Republican Party, as you know, is really suffering from a lack of young people recruitment into the ranks. The young group clearly is the Ron Paul group. Now, yes. As you probably are on top of, all the polls show that the young people are actually the most pro-life group in America.
They are.
The younger people, they grew up with ultrasounds and sonograms and all that, so there's no argument in their mind that is a living human being. Yet the party, by abandoning the pro-life plank of, here in Nevada, basically told all those young people, well, that's not an important issue to us anymore. And again, you don't see that recruitment. So as they drive away the Ron Paul people, which they've done here and nationally, they basically turn them into pariahs. Rather than, they always talk about the big tent when they want to have the log cabin Republicans,
right,
people like that in the party. Yeah, when it comes to people like the Ron Paulers or the Tea Party people, they go out of their way to be openly hostile to them. Yeah. And then they wonder why their base doesn't turn up. Because really, when you think about it, that is probably at least half or maybe three-quarters of the Republican base.
Yeah, it is.
So we have low turnout at the polls, come primaries, and then in the general election, and then they turn around and try to do the same thing repeatedly in the expectation that somehow you're going to attract what? Who? Who's going to come into the party to replace these people that they're obviously trying to ostracize?
Yeah, that's a really significant point that you raise. If you alienate conservatives and social conservatives, you don't have any hard evidence that people who already believe this and are voting Democrat will come over to your side. Why should they come over to your side? They've already got a Democrat to vote for.
Well, that's it. And look, if you know what? Again, if I'm an average voter, and I don't think of myself, I'm a true pro-life traditional conservative. But if I was your average voter, why in the world would I take a party that's not sure where its positions are, rather than go to the Democrats, which are open about it? Here's what we're going to give to you folks, okay? We're going to provide certain social services. Yes, you'll pay more taxes, but the bulk of that's going to be picked up by people in higher income brackets than yourself. And I'd rather have an honest Democrat and say, you know what? These guys, at least I know where they're coming from.
That's the
I don't
thing.
see any reason to be attracted to the Republican Party who thinks they'll, if they basically neuter their platforms and they stand for essentially nothing other than a few fiscal issues. What the heck? Where's the attraction to that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So where do things stand now internally within your party there in Nevada? Was there much pushback? Are people upset now after this decision?
Yeah, I do. I think there's another problem, though, and that is the Republican Party base is aging. We're getting older. I'd probably be a little bit younger than average, and I'm 53 years old. And I think as people, and we don't see that younger recruitment into the party. I think they're actually being alienated, partially because of this absence of values.
Yeah.
But I also think as people get older, they lose some of their drive to fight.
I think
and
so.
I think that's even true of the pro-life, traditional marriage type crowd. And I think they're getting basically, not just shell-shocked, but there's I've been fighting this for 20 and 30 years. Me, I've been involved in the Republican Party virtually since I was 18, going back to the Reagan era.
Yeah.
But I probably today in Nevada, you still see a big, strong element going back to the Pat Robertson campaign in 1988. And that was when there was a huge fight here in Nevada between the Rockefeller wing of the party, as I call them, and the Pat Robertson wing. And with time, the Robertson wing won, and you had these sorts of social issues openly adopted by the Republican Party. And by the way, in the 90s and 2000s, the Republican Party actually did very, very well in Nevada with those in the platform.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been really interesting to see what's going on in Nevada, and wonderful to talk to Assemblyman Ira Hansen. Mr. Hansen, thank you so much. It was great to have you here.
Janet, keep up